The president of the Milwaukee Bucks, Peter Feigin, gave an exclusive interview with Fadeaway World to discuss about the franchise, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and what it took to construct a championship roster in 2021. Peter Feigin has been the president of the Milwaukee Bucks since October 2014. Brought on by owner Mark Lasry as a sales and marketing guru, Feigin has helped the Bucks go from the basement in almost every aspect from a business standpoint to one of the more valuable franchises in all of basketball. Feigin joined me for an interview this week to give NBA fans everywhere an insight into the life of a team president. Feigin came from humble beginnings and has always been a fan of the game he now oversees on a day-to-day basis. He is well respected by the community in Milwaukee, his staff, and the players both past and present, as he has been a major part of leading them into a decade of success and beyond. To dive into the mind and life of a team president was an incredible honor, and it is my pleasure to share it all with you. Here is the transcript verbatim of our conversation. Exclusive interview with Peter Feigin, president of the Milwaukee Bucks. Nick Mack: were you always a fan of the game of basketball? Peter Feigin: yes, absolutely. I have always either played or been a huge fan of the game. Nick Mack: did you know going into college or coming out of college that you wanted to work in the NBA? Peter Feigin: no. I always thought I would be one of those people who combined passion and professionalism, but I didn't even think about it coming out of college. Nick Mack: you have done a lot within the sales and marketing realm. How did the job with the Bucks come about? Peter Feigin: that's actually a funny story. I have an identical twin brother who is the head of private schools in New York City. He was having a conversation with Mark Lasry, who was interested in buying a team. My brother told him that I was working at Madison Square Garden and really understood brand marketing, and that I could give a great vantage point for the sale. I was connected with Mark as he was preparing to take a trip to look into buying the Sixers. I became part of his team as I was moonlighting, which was a fantasy. It was unreal to walk into a data room and see the behind-the-scene business of a team and evaluate it. Mark ended up looking at a dozen teams from different sports, and one Thursday night he called me and asked how soon I could get to Milwaukee. That's how it started. But first, if you're new to the Milwaukee Bucks news channel, enjoy and subscribe now so you don't miss the latest Bucks news, which we're always bringing you firsthand here. Enjoy and like this video, so that YouTube keeps delivering you as the latest Bucks news. Nick Mack: so, when you got to the Bucks in 2014, what was the biggest goal you set for yourself in the organization? Peter Feigin: number one was setting an infrastructure and a baseline. The Bucks at the time were last in almost everything. Last in sales, last in merchandise, and last in social media presence. The first goal was to set a championship infrastructure that involves a lot of people and even more organization. It was essentially like running a startup. We had an opportunity to run a team that had been around for over 50 years like a startup, which was a unique and exciting opportunity. Nick Mack: 9 years later, what has been your biggest accomplishment aside from the 2021 title? Peter Feigin: well, I think it was to take Milwaukee from this small market team to an international brand, which Giannis has helped us do, as well as the Deer District and our social media audience as well. Fandom has been brought back to the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the region of the Midwest. Most importantly, it has been on a global scale, and Giannis' superstardom and ties to different regions have been a big boost in that area. We literally call it the Giannis effect. Nick Mack: Michael Redd cited you as one of the main reasons the 2021 NBA title was able to happen. How does it feel to know that even former players hold you in such high regard? Peter Feigin: well, I switch that back to Michael Redd. I mean, here is one of the most underappreciated people and players that ever existed. He was an Olympian, an incredible Buck, and we have become great friends. He has helped me to realize even more how important our alumni are. He has helped us tremendously with our players and staff, helping us realize how special of a team and organization we are. Nick Mack: as for the 2021 championships team, what did you and the organization see in players like Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, and Chris Middleton that you knew would be successful? Peter Feigin: I think it is putting together the puzzle. John Horst has been tremendous at understanding what it takes to be successful on the court as someone who handles the day-to-day business on that side of things. Those guys, along with Chris, Brooke, and many others, were instrumental in our success, and John did his homework on what they not only brought on the court but what they brought to the organization as a whole. Nick Mack: switching gears a bit, I remember many disgruntled fans calling for Coach Budenholzer's job after the 2020 loss in the bubble. What has it been like to see him emerge as a leader for that team? Peter Feigin. Coach has been extremely consistent in his ways. One of the things I learned from him is really this culture of constant improvement. He is pleased but never satisfied. How can we sustain success and it ripples through the entire organization from top to bottom? It has helped the Bucks get to this point that if you want to be part of our culture, then you have to be prepared to always be raising the bar. That's been Coach Bud's effect that people don't get the chance to really see outside of the organization. Nick Mack. We have a fan question for you from one of our readers. If you could make an all-time lineup using any players from any point in NBA history, what would it be? Peter Feigin. Giannis, Drew, Chris, Brooke, and Bobby. Nick Mack. Great answer. Now speaking of Giannis, would you say he is the greatest player you have ever watched with your own two eyes? Peter Feigin. I think one of the more incredible things is that he is such an incredibly physical freak. On both ends of the court, the things he does never cease to amaze me. I used to watch guys like Iverson who I was enamored with because of the things he could do at his size. Michael Jordan of course as well. I have seen over 600 games now of Giannis's career. Every time I watch him, my jaw drops. His talents and greatness will always impress me and it is something new that he does every day that gives me that sense. Peter Feigin's passion for his city. I think it goes without saying after having read about our conversation that Peter Feigin is a humble man and a true professional. What cannot be determined from these words is the pure joy that Peter Feigin gets from talking about his job, the Bucks as a whole, and the city of Milwaukee. You could literally feel the joy and pure passion he has for those things as he spoke about them with a raised voice and undoubtedly a smile. Peter Feigin is the first executive I have even had the pleasure of sitting down with. I have interviewed players and coaches but never someone with a job as high up as his. It was a unique experience I am truly grateful for. Understanding the commitment and sacrifice these men and women pay for the love and commitment to the game is something I am so thankful to have a better understanding of. Fadeaway World thanks you, Peter Feigin, for taking the time to speak with me and give an insight into the world of an executive.